So walked in, said this is a cash deal, purchased the house within a week, as is.
The trim is all yuck.
It was in pieces. There were holes in every wall.
So much work, work everywhere.
I realized that I wanted to make this in a show place for everyone and everywhere. I'm going to ask the top people in senior living that I know that are my competitors to come in and do this with me.
We're putting flooring in right now, we're painting right now, we're doing some of the fun stuff right now.
Somebody can come in and they can experience technology in a non-threatening way.
She transformed it into a magnificent mansion.
So in the process right now, we're at the finish line. Unfortunately, the project's been shut down 3 times. At this point, I am not sure when it's going to be done. So in the process right now, we're at the finish line. And unfortunately, I have had the referees call some really bad calls on me. I just got denied again for the hot cold spa because they don't understand it. Well, this has been like one of the biggest challenges with the city. Multiple meetings, multiple saying no's. Instead of trying to understand it, they just kind of shut down. Once we get through it and get over the hump, it's gonna be, life-changing. I love the elevator. It reminds me of Willy Wonka, and that's one of my childhood memories that made me feel really good. This is a passenger elevator. It's pneumatic, so it doesn't require a pit. It's kind of like the Willy Wonka elevator or a bank tube. And I love in the movie, they're living in this tiny house and you've got the 2 sets of grandparents that are sleeping in the same bed together with their feet, touching. And I think about that, and I think about him winning the golden ticket. And this house is just kind of like that. Like, how do you transform the people that you love that are older, their lives, because you got the golden ticket? And this house is the golden ticket. IDEO did a study on boomers, and they said, would you rather die or have somebody take care of you because you're not able to take care of yourself? And they said they would prefer to die. Our independence and freedom, particularly in America, is paramount to how we feel living should be done. So when we no longer can take care of ourselves, we feel like we're losing our freedoms. Part of that is that we're in fear. We're in fear that we're gonna fall down the steps and break a hip. We're in fear that we can't hear somebody right, so we think they're talking about us, and so we disengage. We're in fear that we might have some incontinence. It's not like popular to talk about, but as we get older, it happens, and now I had an accident and I don't want friends to come over anymore.
Things begin to get difficult as we age. Our mobility is not as good, our hearing is not as good, our vision is not as good, our memory is not as good.
As you age, things might change. Maybe you're not as fluid as you were. Maybe it's more difficult to bend over or sit down. And so we need to plan for that and make sure that the furniture and furnishings really correspond to how you're aging.
We need to take care of the seniors. We need to take care of the people that took care of us as we were growing up. And we need to make sure that they have the best amenities that they can, to make them comfortable, returning dignity and independence to their lives.
And so as we design for seniors, we try to plan a community, a home, a hotel, whatever it might be, so that they can feel as independent as possible.
And all of the technology that Lisa uncovers around the world is solely to help people function and live beautiful, comfortable, independent lives with dignity and respect.
So this is the Manor House, and I'd love to show you around and talk to you about what we're doing here. This seat is the proper height. These, though, it's almost like a plastic. So it looks like wood, but it's easy to clean, and you can even clean it with Clorox, which is pretty phenomenal. But all this is the proper seat height. You can get in and out.
The arms can hold full body weight. You can literally use the chairs as leverage to get in and out of them. It's empowering to somebody to be able to get up out of that seat on their own. Our catch hardware holds a folded walker on the back of a dining chair or a lounge chair. It's a game changer.
I always say, if you can't cut, you can't cook. And for females especially, cooking is purpose. And when you take that away, that's when they don't feel good about themselves and they start to really age. When you do something that's height adjustable, it's good for tall people, it's good for short people, just like I've said before, it's good for kids. This is my height adjustable cutting counter. And then the cabinets. I've had a lot of issues getting into upper cabinets. So other people might have rotator cuff problems. You might put something heavy in your cabinet and not be able to get it down. This allows you just press a button and it comes down to you. Because I love the bidet toilet seats. One of the hardest things to deal with when you're aging or if you get hurt, having someone in an intimate situation when you're going to the bathroom. These are fairly easy. Like, I've actually installed quite a few of them. So what I'll do is I'll take that seat off, then I will situate this seat on, I'll hook up the plumbing down here and I'll plug it in and we'll be good to go as a bidet.
I mean, having somebody wipe your private parts is really invasive. And as you start to get into memory care, then it gets really invasive. And because the contact that you have with that person, they're not used to that. That's one of the biggest things.
So this is called Grab Accessories. Has little grippers on the back, and it puts this at the appropriate height to help me get on and off. So Scott has invented this toilet paper holder that can take a lot of weight, and then it can be in a bunch of different finishes, so it looks architecturally beautiful. So part of it is the whole house is about how do you move somebody from fear to freedom. If I had to do one thing, the cheapest thing that I would do, and the most effective thing that I would do that. That would be my number one thing. Because if I'm scared that I'm going to drop or I'm not going to be able to get back off the toilet by myself without calling for help, and it's a vulnerable position, that's a game killer right there. You do that, and what does that retail for?
Around $62.99 to $64.99.
I mean, a kid can buy that for his grandma.
Fear to Freedom is about having a bathroom that you can walk into and not feel that fear that there's grab bars, I'm gonna fall, the shower's a bad place, this is where people hurt themselves. It's one of the last things that people are able to do on their own too.
If you're in a wheelchair or a walker, a lot of people don't think that you can stand, but you can actually stand if you have help. So this helps you. It can actually lower to where you're at, and then it has handles that are built in that helps you to raise. So there's a lot of really beautiful parts to the technology that helps us live vibrantly, and that's what this is all about.
So what we need to do is we need to start pulling off the double stick tape, install the sensors.
The carpet from Shaw is truly amazing, where you can notify immediately if someone falls by falling onto that flooring. I had not seen it done before, and I think it's revolutionary for this industry.
This is like custom framing when I do mats and that. You have to be like really, once you get it, but it has to be precise.
The first one.
Yeah.
So Shaw was one of the first partners. I've collaborated with them several years. I had written about the technology in my first book, and then they had started investigating it on their side. And when they started coming out, we started partnering and talking about how could we apply it into homes? How could we apply it into senior living? And I said, we had to try it out at the mansion. So this was the first book I ever wrote, and this was about technology in senior living, gamification, sensors. Actually, Sensor Floor, the floor that we're gonna put in, is being in here. I wrote about this, and it was a company from Germany, and then Shaw licensed their technology.
I wrote this 5 years ago. Never in a million years would I dream that I would have a mansion that then this would be installing it and people would get to like use. So that's kind of a trip.
So Lisa's given us the opportunity to install this floor in this live environment, in this live lab of hers, so that we can see the benefits of the flooring.
The intent behind the Sense Floor technology is really to provide everything from fall detection to moisture in the floor, potential incontinence issues, detection of movement and patterns in the rooms.
The technology is so smart because it doesn't tie to you as a person. So your privacy is 100% protected. But it still enables you to live without fear that if you would fall down, you're not going to be left there.
And if somebody falls, then we can have it have a trigger. We could have it trigger if they get up in the middle of the night, 10 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning, the lights will be tied to it if I want them to, and they're smart lighting, and it can turn the lights on for the bathroom. So it's super cool, but it's not invasive.
It's one of those things that is the biggest fear. Like, what happens to me, not only if I fall and I can't get back up, I break something or I just physically can't do it, but how does somebody find me? And, you know, if it happens in 20 minutes, that's one thing, because it notifies you immediately. If it's a day later, like everything that's happened to me in that period of time and how embarrassing that is.
I can watch how you're walking, I can watch slip and falls. The technology allows us to track a resident within the unit on every time, 24 hours a day. So it'll give us quick alerts on falls, on slips, on traffic patterns as well.
This isn't just about healthcare, this is about soul care. Like, you know, you have to realize that when something happens to you, an event, it's not just that somebody rescues you, it's that you feel like you've lost your dignity and your independence. And sometimes that's worse than breaking something. So having a bidet toilet seat, having the countertop be able to be the right height so you can still cook, all those little things can make your life so that you're able to still be productive and purposeful without having something stop you. So there's a lot of different fears that go on, and if you can eradicate those and make somebody feel comfortable because you've got the right piece of furniture, you've got something that helps them with their balance, you've got something that helps them with their mind, you've got technology that reminds them to take their pills, they're able to operate in freedom much longer and stay connected. And as long as you stay connected and purposeful, you're living well.
People need a purpose, and I don't care if you're 16 years old or 80 years old, we need a purpose. And Lisa, I think, lives that. She has passion for it, and I think it's going to change many, many lives.
I believe things should be brought back to life and restored to the beauty, their purpose. But so often what we do is we shut down. Well, I don't walk well, so now I'm gonna get a walker. Now I'm gonna get a wheelchair. Now I'm not gonna walk at all. And then next thing you know, they're in a nursing home. And the next thing you know, nobody's visiting them. And then they're dead. I don't want to live like that. I mean, I want to be like vibrant and connected and mentoring and cooking and kissing and all those kinds of things that you do when you're living. And you really have to have your environment support you in all of that.
What are you the most nervous about? Like, what's your deep, dark worry?
My deep, dark worry. So
I think one of the biggest challenges was not the construction. I do that on a daily basis. I think one of the biggest challenges was being challenged by ignorance, the protesting about a color, to the city wanting it done the way it's always been done. I've been blown away by those challenges. Like, it should be easier than that when you're trying to do something good.
if I bit off more than I could chew and then it ends up being a failure point, I've really screwed everybody up. I've royally screwed up the ability to help people because they'll just look at it like it can't be done.